Church hurt. What's your story?
I don't really have any church hurt other
Really?
than when I moved. I mean, I guess the difference of growing up north versus in the south is that in the south it was very hard for me to find a church because of what I was used to, the strict Pentecostal church. So I kind of didn't go to church for like 10 years because it was just so hard finding a church that aligned with what I was used to. And I didn't want to change my values of what I believed in. So I don't have it. I don't know if
You don't
that's
have
like
church hurt like church hurt.
I'm not talking about my church hurt.
You know, I mean, other than like, you know, we was in church Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
That hurts.
We used to be ducking down on the church van as we were riding over
Now we
the
get
neighborhood.
Chicken.
So yes, we would be so embarrassed, and because you know we'll be riding through all the hip neighborhoods on the church van on Wednesday, so we'll be like back there ducked down, but we had to be discreet because we didn't know the church
These
people
church
didn't
girls
want us
live
to
that
know.
life
But
that they were just talking
no,
about.
But that was
the
the
crazy
thing.
thing is, like, we went to church. My mom actually stopped going to church. Not stopped. We always had a faith-filled life. But my mom, it was one particular church. Gary Lozado, I think it was Lozado. It was a Caucasian, it was a multi-church. And he moved, and after that, we didn't go to church as much. And I think that's when I started kind of experiencing a lot more of the things, you know, that we went through. But I still always had a faith-based kind of thing. But I was envious of like my cousins and stuff like that you know.
That went to church?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They went to church?
because they just seemed so wholesome.
Right.
And I was like, they did.
Yeah.
And they seemed like their families and everything was all together and everything. And I was just like, dang, well, my family can't be like that. Man, my auntie's stupid. My sister dumb. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was just like, they seemed like they had it all together. And I was over here like going out and, you know, all that stuff. But I just felt like, no one was steering me in the other route
to do it. And that was the thing with us, is that we were on the church van on Friday at 10 o'clock heading home, because that was the expectation. You go to church, but you do what you want after that. So that's why we'll be ducking down, because we'll be heading home to change
to go out
and go out that night. So she did allow us to do everything we did. And the church, I don't know if they frowned upon her, but it was a lot of questions of your kids go out and do all these things.
I'm sure it
And
was,
that's
because I know what church you're talking about.
It was very
My mom
holy.
left that very church because she said she was not being bound.
Right.
Yeah, but I've experienced church hurt so much. Like, I don't even think we have time in enough film to go through it. But one thing that hurt me, I think in particular, it's like I've always been myself. I don't have to be a part of a crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at myself as an individual, you know, even in my circles that I am in. And so I never adhere to like just crowds and cliques and stuff like that. I'm not cliquey. And so for me, I dance. I like to dance. In general, I've always danced and stuff like my whole life. So when I wanted to dance in church, the liturgical, you know, just to give that back as, you know, like a token of, you know, thank you God for giving me this gift.
Using your gifts, right.
I was shunned. And actually,
Was it because of the dances you were doing? Or
no, I think it
why?
was because, I don't know, they just took me as a different person. I don't know why. And maybe, I think in particular, I don't know, maybe they didn't like the way my body looked in those outfits and leotards.
Yeah, I was about to say, is it because you were up here?
Up here, a little bit healthier.
Very
Judgmental, like they didn't want, because they are like, oh yeah, make sure you cover up here and then and all this stuff. And I was fine with that, but like they didn't want me dancing in general. Even now, I feel like I'm, you know, going through some of the same cycle, and I had to bust up in there like, boom! Excuse me, what we doing for Christmas?
Right.
What we doing for Christmas today?
And I just want to add to that, because what I'm finding is that the churches that are aware of what the churches like that are doing to people like you are changing, because they're running people away that are not so holier than thou. They're running them away from the church because they're creating a picture that you have to be this certain way instead of come as you are.
Right.
So what I'm noticing, the newer churches are looking to put people like us in the
place.
front
Yeah.
so that we could draw in people that look like us instead of running them away with the old.
Because ain't nobody wearing no collars.
Right.
That's interesting.
Who's
Right.
wearing a collar?
And
Matter of
you
fact, I
are
hate when I
losing
see
people.
collars.
Right.
I didn't
Exactly.
know the church that I was going. That's probably it. The church that I was going to. I didn't know what Kojic was. You know, I had read some stuff about people through their experiences. So I researched it, and I'm not talking about any. Yes, I am talking about the denomination. I am.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shade. It's a lot of
I've
stuff in the
heard
whole
to
Kojic
stay
thing,
away
and
from them.
and I didn't know the
Yeah.
first church that I went to was Kojic. I was at some kind of revival, whatever you want to call it, thing, and like the whole people came. They had the robes. It was swanging. It was all swanging. The moms had the.
Me,
I
I
was
got
like,
a different energy
they
when
was
she
all
go to church because
swanging.
I went to this church with Mia
And
one time.
so
And this lady told you that you was gonna meet your husband. You remember that?
No.
That one lady, she was a
lied.
prophet. Yes, but you love that woman. Like we was in that church.
There's no
That lady-
expiration on prophecy, so
That's
maybe
true.
it
That
just
lady,
didn't happen.
right? That
yet.
lady
She
that
gonna be
prophesied
constant.
about you meeting your husband and having a
I don't
baby.
like that anymore. I'm like, don't prophesy about me meeting
But it
my husband.
happened. It
How
happened.
you know?
It just so.
That's a whole nother topic.
That's her church hurt right there.
No, that's the part. I told y'all we don't got enough tapes.
See?
I just chose
'Cause you saw the
talk about the
eyes
dance
rolling.
option. You know what I'm saying? I really did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want the whole Kojic thing. And then we were sitting there, and I was next to this lady from New York. She was older because I didn't really hang around like a
She was a good person. Right?
good person. She real good, like real good.
Right.
And shout out to Nayara.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so we were sitting there. She didn't even know. And I was shocked because she real smart, witty, like on the go, like New York, you know what I'm saying? And so they dropped a little thing and it said COGIC. I was like, what does that mean? And she was like, oh my God, this is a Kojic church.
Wow.
Now, we had been here for like a year and some change.
Wow.
So everybody
I
knows
didn't
what
know.
that is for people who don't know.
Church of God in
In
Christ.
And I've always, when I moved to the South and was looking for a church,
Stay away.
a lady that is very close to me, older lady, she did warn me away from that.
Yeah.
Church?
Yeah,
What type
she-
of church is?
Those
Kojic.
Kojic church. When I was like, I
Yeah.
think I found a good church and we're going there. She was like, no, just don't do
Don't
it.
go.
And
So
So I
just
have
listened
never
to
heard,
what
I'm
she
gonna be
said.
honest, I've never heard of that before. My church
Really?
came in when I moved here 5 years ago from Ohio. I remember, I think I visited every church down Betty's Ford. And it got to the point where I started praying and I said, God, just lead me to the church that you would have for me to go to. And I was invited to go to the church that I'm still at today.
That's a shout out.
Shout out to Pastor Barrington Johnson
That's my Charlotte church.
at New Zion
I love them.
Missionary Baptist, 217 West Todd,
Oh my.
and Charlotte, North Carolina. Services at 10 o'clock
Oh
on
my
Sundays.
God, church announcement.
Right.
Church announcement.
But I remember I visited every church down Betty's Ford, and I kept saying, Lord, just lead me to the church that you want me to be at. And I remember going to that church and just saying, like, I knew when I got to that church that was the church that I was supposed to go to.
Right.
Because there was times where I was in
In that
Ohio when I
church.
first met my spouse. I was going to a Baptist. He was going to, I don't know what he was going to. And I was going with him to whatever it was. And it was certain things that was said at that church that just didn't sit right with my spirit. And I was just like, mm-mm. But because I was going to marry this person, I felt like it was important for us to worship under the same roof, meaning the same church.
Right.
And so what would happen is I would go with him to his service, then we would go to Bible study, and then we would go to my church service. And so when I got to Charlotte, and we would go to churches where people were drinking out the same cup, you know, for communion, and I was looking like, we should probably move out of the church, because I'm not drinking off anyone.
Right.
And like, this is just not
Yeah,
it.
that is.
Yeah, so that's where my thing came in, and I'm grateful. I'm truly blessed that God led me to where I'm supposed to be. I've had other church hurt where I'm not ready to
Gonna
share. I'm not ready to share that.
Maybe by the next episode.
I do
Yeah.
want to say one more thing. There's a lot of so the same church that I was talking about, there was this guy when I was in college, and he went to the same church, and he was actually in like the leadership programs, and he was like, you know, he was young though, like younger and stuff like. And so he came to me, opened up to me about the church, like behind the scenes. They were trying to make him do something strange for some change.
Wow.
And it was the same, it was the people under the pastor. And I ain't care. I don't care. I'm just saying. I ain't gonna say them names, but yeah. It was some people under the pastor. And he was like really, really hurt because the guy that came to him was his mentor.
Wow.
So be careful about these mentors,
You
these
do.
men and women mentors that are trying to mentor your children and stuff like that. Be careful with that. And so, yeah, he was like really, really hurt. He had been through some obvious, and then so he tried to go to people within the church to help him. Nobody would help him because they all was doing it.
Wow. You do have to be so careful about the churches.
And this pastor died years later.
Yeah.
And God told me, like, I had a whole dream, this whole nother segment about the whole situation, and I was just like, wow.
And they spoke about that today, about not doing things before you're ready. Because when you're not quite ready, you get into a situation of power where you begin to do things like that.
Yeah.
And run people
If you're
away.
struggling
So
with
yeah, make sure you become whole before you begin to live
Enough.
into these roles
Right.
and still deal with your issues.
Right.
And you run people away.
That's
You know?
that's what I did, because I was in a leadership position at the church that I'm in now, which I love. And
Shout out to your church. Shout it out on the low.
I came out of that role because, you know, I didn't feel like I was doing right.
Yeah,
and I
and
told
that's
them that. I
good.
said, I'm coming out
Maturity.
because I'm ready to turn. No, I'm just
Right.
Oh, that's what you told me.
No, in so many words.
And they probably was
Yes.
like, let me.
But
No, it
that's
wasn't a
maturity,
turn off. It's
though.
like I'm not ready to be
Right.
here yet. I'm
Yeah.
just being honest with you
Talking about
because
That's good.
if I'm gonna be up here and then if
How
I'm
long
gonna be
ago
up
was
here,
this?
and I was rebelling too. This
That's
was
at
like
this
2
church
years
that
ago.
you go
Yeah,
here.
this was
Okay,
like
so this
two.
is out
No,
here,
this
okay.
was like 3 years ago.
Okay, so it's recent.
And I was in a leadership position. And so, I mean, they were wearing, because they still have traditions that they're getting rid of. Like older traditions
Right.
that's like in the bylaws and stuff of the church, all that stuff, politics. And so I'm like, well, I'm not wearing no shoes like that. I'm wearing my stilettos up here. I'm going to be wearing my stilettos up here in front of all these people when we doing communion. I'm not wearing no flats.
I remember. So
I'm
I remember.
short.
You have to
I'm
get
like
away from the
5'2",
tradition.
3. I need heels.
I remember when I was in Ohio. This is after I graduated high school. So they usually, so the church I went to, they had different ministries. You know, the married, the singles, the teens, the kids. I said, yo, what happened to the college people, the people that's in between? Like, we not kids yet, but we not full grown adults. We learning how to pay bills, how to manage money, how to, you know, become a homeowner, and we're now starting to work. And so we didn't have any type of ministry for that in between stage, you know, not a teenager, but not a full blown adult. And so my hurt came in when I was like, yo, I feel like we don't have anything for college kids, that in between stage and age. And I mean, what's going on with us?
Right.
And so I remember like really fighting to try to get a ministry started for that age group, because we needed good mentors
We do.
for that age group. And I feel like there's nothing that, like, if you look at it, a lot of churches,
My
they
church
got the
does.
singles, they got the
That's
married. A lot of people don't
They
got
got-
divorcees.
they
They don't
have all
got
the
ministries for
churches.
divorcees. Now you starting to see it
Yeah.
come in. They had the teens, they had the kids, they had the adults, but they didn't have the college age. So it's not until you really put it out there, you know what I mean, and let it be known, like, hey, this is what we need, this is what we want, this is what the people of God need.
Right.
That good direction, because if you think about it, there's a lot of great people, mentors that are in the church that could actually help in a lot of areas.
Yeah, there
but
are.
they choose not to, for whatever.
Because the
reason.
church hurt.
Church
Right.
hurt. Right.
And because they're scared to, because you create an environment that you have to be holier than thou.
And that is so
it's
the
an
opposite
unrealistic
of what it is.
expectation because
Yeah.
we're still
It's the
human.
opposite
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
it is. Like,
So-
because I swear I hate a collar. I'm not against it, but when I see people with collars, I'm like,
What you mean, a pastor?
a collar.
Well,
like
they
when you're
literally
wearing those
wear
white
the
They
white
collars.
actually, you know why they wear them?
I don't care.
A lot of pastors wear roses because they don't want to be seen. I feel like I'm gonna give an example. A lot of pastors, even the ones that's not
Mine don't really
attractive,
wear a
even the
collar.
pastors that are not
Wear.
attractive become attractive to women for whatever reason. If you think
You
about
think
it,
that's it?
yes, it's like they don't want to be seen. They want to hide behind a robe. I don't want you to see me. I want you to see God. I want you to hear this word. And so I'm putting
It's
on
like
a
a
robe.
power.
It's not a power thing. It's I want you to get what you need to get. And if you're looking at me, and if the attention is on me,
I get
it ain't
that.
on God. And so they
it's
usually
like
put
a
a robe.
representation.
They put on a robe so that they can be hidden and God can be shown.
If you wearing
That was my
but if
understanding
you're
of why they're
wearing
doing
regular clothes, like as if you was going outside to the store, why you gotta have more all of that to talk?
What you mean? He got to take off his shirt?
No, I'm just
the
saying.
robe? Oh,
like if you
I was like,
if you're
what?
wearing regular clothes, you know what I'm saying, and you're not, why you coming to church like it's Easter every Sunday?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't need to come to church like it's Easter every Sunday. We don't need pinstripe.
But then you
orange
got older.
suits
But then you got
and stuff
people
like that.
that's older that get mad at seeing a pastor not with.
Well, that's
that
the
on.
old tradition that we're talking about
Right.
that needs to go away because nobody relates to that. If I'm going to the store and I see you and you got on regular clothes and stuff like that, you ain't got on like no workout clothes. I could see that as inappropriate, right, in front of everybody. But like you have just want some regular clothes.
Be
I'll be honest, I don't
relatable.
care what my pastor wears, as long as he don't come with some inappropriate stuff, then I can't say nothing because I done came to church before with these same thigh boots.
She has.
I done came to church exactly with some fishnets before.
Oh wow.
Okay, so not with a mini skirt and all
Oh.
that. Like, just
No, I'm
fishnet.
trying to visualize
All right.
the fish
No,
nets.
it wasn't a club outfit. It wasn't a club
Shout out
outfit.
to the fishnet.
Right. Shut up. But I'm just saying, I can't
On a Sunday.
judge anybody because you don't know what is
The
in their
same
heart.
fish. As long as you ain't wear them on Saturday night.
Right. I wasn't there. It wasn't on Saturday.
Yeah. So church hurt. I know this should be flooded with comments,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Y'all should have plenty of comments about what you've experienced about church hurt. But the great thing that I always say is if you have experienced church hurt is not your relationship with the church.
That's
It is
right.
your relationship with God. So
That's
whatever
right.
you experience, as long as you're sharing it with others and trying to make sure that, you know, help them through their situations
Right.
or whatnot, you're being beneficial. It doesn't have to be in the church. You are the church, is what I say. So,
love that.
yeah.
Yes.
So, anybody
And
Like
don't-
the church is only as healthy as the people that's in it. When you think about it, like the church, what they say is a hospital for
It
sick
is a
people.
hospital.
Like you coming in, I'm coming in here to get the word of God, to learn, to grow, to be whatever I need. I'm not coming here for you.
No.
So it doesn't. To me, it really is. That's not what I'm here for. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm here for
exactly.
healing. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't let one church hurt be every church
That's
hurt.
right.
It's just like you go into a new church with a new expectation and a new experience. Leave that, whatever you experienced at one church behind, and be open to finding another church with a new experience instead of carrying the baggage. Because I think that's another thing that people shy away from church because what they experienced in another church.
Right.
So there are still good churches and good word, good, you know, you
Right.
can still
Yeah.
get good
And also
word
be
of God.
self-aware. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's not just about the church. Sometimes it's about yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
look
are
at
you
you.
church hopping because you just want your way and you're not getting what you want out of
Right,
that
that's
from
That's a
that
whole
church?
nother
Like,
topic.
man, sometimes it ain't
Exactly.
church hurting. You, sweetheart, this is not your church. Calm
Right.
down. This is God's church.
Right.
So you gotta recognize that too as well.
Yeah. Well, shout out to the pastors without no collars.
Shout out to my pastor, Eric Johnson.
Shout out to my new pastors. I found the good Pentecostal church. Small, but shout out to them.
God.
Yes.
This is Mia.
Naughty again.
Shantae.
This is Thinking Out Loud. You can find our IGs and everything down below. Shout out to Save the Arts TV.
Thanks again.
Follow us.
Later.
See you next time.